G'day Magpie fans, this is Heath Shaw here on the Black and White Show. This week the VFL are heading back to Victoria Park for their first game of the year, and we're going to interview a few of the older guys about what it was like back at Victoria Park. Today we're going to interview Heath Shaw, ask him a few questions about Victoria Park. Heath, what are your fondest memories of Vic Park? Well, Heath, I only trained there for half a year before we moved to the Westpac Centre, so fondest memories were just the history and a lot of the memories that I used to have when I went to watch Collingwood play there. That's really nice to hear. That's a very good answer.
My first goal, so not many to choose from.
Your first goal, that was a long time ago?
It was a long time ago against the Eagles, so I'm going to kick two others after that.
Probably the last game, even though I was playing for Brisbane.
So that's a very unique situation there. You managed to play in the last game but not in Collingwood colours.
No, I didn't actually got injured before it, so I had to watch it.
I think my fondest memories of Victoria Park would be as a kid, Heath, going in watching games, the likes of Dakes and Gavin Brown. But I think the one thing that I do love to think about is when Dakes would take a mark about 60 metres out, and the whole crowd will be calling for a talk that he'd launch and straight through the big ones.
Very nice, reminiscing those old days. Sticking with the theme of old men at the Collingwood Football Club today, we've got Shane O'Brien here. What do you think would have been the biggest games of Vic Park? Maybe that last one?
Yeah, our last one would have been pretty big, probably 1990. Leading up to that probably would have been pretty big, I reckon.
Well, the biggest one that I can remember was our last game there, Heath, where it was well documented. Obviously, we had a fair crowd there, and there was cameras in the rooms for Shawry's last sort of pre-game meeting. That by far will probably be the biggest game that I'll...
Brings tears to my eyes, Paul. Well, I think back in the old days, all the big games were the Collingwood Carlton, Collingwood Richmond, Collingwood Essendon. Obviously didn't play in any of those, but they were definitely some of the better games to watch, and a lot of Collingwood fans there. 99% of the people there were Collingwood fans, so that's always a bonus. Very nice, very nice.
They weren't really that big in terms of, I suppose, like Collingwood Carlton games, things like that. We used to play the interstate teams there, but maybe the last game at Vic Park had a pretty big build-up and was packed out, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely the last one there. Hi guys, welcome back. Here we go. What do you miss about Victoria Park, Heath? Well, Heath, what I miss about Victoria Park is that it's only a 5-minute drive from where I live, and driving to the Westpac Centre is probably about 30, so it would cut off 25 minutes of my driving. But the Westpac Centre, as you can see, is a very fine facility. Yes, that's very true, Heath.
Oh, it was a pretty good ground to train on. The surface was always pretty good, and then obviously the crowd was 99.9% Collingwood supporters. So
Probably the surface, probably one of the better surfaces going around. Training wise, it was probably a disappointing part of it, not playing AFL games, VFL games there anymore. The surface is awesome.
I think Vic Park has obviously a fair bit of history, and we do miss that old, the culture of the rooms, and we don't quite have that here at Lexus Centre, but I'm sure...
Westpac Centre?
Sorry, Westpac Centre. But I'm sure over the time we definitely will.
What is the biggest spray you or someone you know has ever copped at Vic Park?
I'm not too sure. The only maybe a few I can think of is maybe the big G train used to cop a spray from the supporters. Like, can't remember Uncle Tone giving anyone too many sprays there, but no, always the full forward that I was playing on used to cop a good spray down the Sharon stand end, I think it is.
It's beautiful, Pressy, bringing back memories.
I probably want to mix at training, I reckon.
Well, the biggest spray I've ever copped probably would have been a training drill at in my first year. Maybe I stuffed up a kick or something and Mick got a hold of me, but I haven't copped too many sprays because I wasn't there for very long. Yes, we all understand Mick tends to get a bit rowdy sometimes, so...
I didn't play for long enough under Mick to cop my biggest spray at Vic Park. I think actually I heard Shawry give Jason Wild a fair spray.
A former number 22 to another 22.
Absolutely, yeah. Which he was good though. He copped on the chin, not like you. When you cop sprays, you normally sulk for a couple of days.
Yeah, which is natural. And this week, the VFL are playing down at Vic Park for the first time this year. Who's a young player that we could look out for?
Got to go for the mentors. Jared Blight, he's got himself up and running. Stay tuned, I reckon. Watch out.
Jared Blight, halfback flanker, running halfback flanker.
Good mark, good use of the ball. Just needs to believe in himself a little bit.
Hopefully not looking to steal my spot.
Well, you got to put pressure on your seniority blokes, and so you perform at your best every week.
I'm not sure who's going to be playing. I don't know.
Just throw out a name.
I'll throw out, I don't know if Nathan Brown's going to be coming up. It's a big chance of coming up. He played pretty
You're
well
assuming he's not playing AFL?
I don't know. That's what I just said. I'll go for a rookie then. Tommy Hunter.
Tommy Hunter, he's been pretty good the last couple of weeks in the practice.
Pretty good, and he's been I'm his mentor, so expect big things from him.
Well, Heath, I think I've been watching a few of the young guys down the back line, mentoring them and trying to get them developing into running halfback flankers, not to take my position, but just to improve their football. I think Tom Young has really had a really good pre-season as a youngster coming through the system from New South Wales, and I think he's set for a really big year.
Jared Blair would make his debut on a Victoria Park this week. Look out for him. Jackson Barham, he's going to follow in his old man's footsteps and go out there and play.
Seem to be looking after the midfielders, Paul. Is that a bit of a trend there?
Well, obviously the VFL have a great midfield coach there at the moment. He spends a fair bit of time with them.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot about the VFL coaching situation. Who's the VFL midfield coach?
That would be me.
Yes, Paul Lucuria looking after himself. Thanks for joining us, Paul, and very lovely if you take a bit of time out to give back to the people, the black and white fans out there. So thank you for joining us, and good luck with the midfield this year. Thanks very much, Presty, and hopefully we don't see you down at Vic Park at any stage this year.
Hopefully not.
Thanks for joining us, Heath, and thank you very much for those answers. No worries, Heath. Once again, thanks for joining us on another episode of the Black and White Show. Hope you enjoyed our interviews. And if you get the chance, head on down to Victoria Park on Saturday to watch the VFL team play the first game back at Victoria Park.